up seeing the Ferrari and the Lotus doing a bit of battle here. Goes Frank Stippler then, gaining some more places as he comes over the line. Where is he now? Yeah, he's up into 11th place, so he's nearly into the top 10.
2 into the first corner there. Tickles the grass on the exit of Madwick, and fastest lap of the race as well. So a man on a mission is Frank Stippler in the Ferrari. He'll be charging down, just having a look. There's a close battle, as we saw, between Sam Mitchell and James Cottingham out there as well. Richard Bradley, fastest of anybody in the first sector. He's made his way up now into the top 10. So he's sitting in 9th place, and you can see Stippler all over the back of the Lotus Ford of Fennell and O'Brien, and actually he's made his way past.
Yeah, it's gained another place, so he's still picking them off one by one. He's over that fastest lap. There's still no doubt about our race leader. It is Audrain Motorsport who is leading this race, and he may well be able to pull away a touch more from the Ferrari pretty soon. Just look at the speed and the challenge that Frank Stippler's putting in. Dives down the inside, gains yet another place. Let's just see where this puts him then as they come over the line. Yeah, he is gaining more all the time.
Frank Stippler with the fastest time of the race, over 8/10 faster than that of Lotterer out in front. And there's Richard Bradley and Stippler now. These two fast drivers. Bradley leaves the door open slightly. That allows Stippler to go through. But the 22 of Bradley will hope to hook a line onto the back of that Ferrari and drag him up through the field. He's been making good way. Don't lose too much time, guys, battling, because you're both two of the fastest drivers out on track, and you can certainly make your way further up the field.
They're lovely livery cars too, aren't they? They're really bright colours, and it shows the speeds that they're doing as well in this race really are remarkable. So the Ferrari and the Lotus making their way up against a lot of these GT40s, but it is very much a GT40 lead at the moment. So where's Frank Stippler going to go this time?
I'm astounded by his pace. He's coming through traffic, but he's 2 seconds faster than our race leader. He's on fire. He's going to have a look down the inside into St Mary's. 66 of Alex Brundle sort of gives him the shoulder to make him go the long way round. Now he's behind the Sam Mitchell car, so he's picking them up one by one. He's going to get 2 heading into Lavin.
His speed through there is remarkable, isn't it? That Ferrari is working so well here at Goodwood. Oh no, Richard. Oh, what a shame. Richard Bradley, who we were talking about as being a part of that battle. I don't know what's happened with the Lotus. And so his teammate Kubota had a spin earlier on. I don't quite know what's happened to Bradley, whether it's a car problem or not. But that is out of the race. But those are the top 3 you just saw. How close those top 3 cars are. Can't predict who's going to win this. We've only got just over 13 minutes to go. And, oh, look, he's done it. He's got in front. Stippler has taken the lead in the Ferrari, having been right down at the back when this race got back underway once again. That is remarkable. It's got damage on the front end, but Frank Stippler has taken the lead in the Ferrari 206S. Let's take another look at this.
Opted to take the slightly tighter line through the exit of St Mary's. I mean, it's not been Rob's strongest area of the track, has it? That second part of St Mary's. Not feeling like he's got the car performance behind him, but the slightly lighter, more nimble Ferrari sails on through, and clean air from Frank Stippler. We saw his determination of really trying to generate as much tyre temperature as possible.
Section, the first of all, the double apex Woodcote corner. There's our race leader, Frank Stippler, going through Woodcote now. All that he's got to do now is get through the chicane. But how's that battle going on for second place? We shall see in just a moment. Here comes the race winner of the Gurney Cup. It is Frank Stippler sharing with David Franklin. They have taken the victory with the Ferrari.
Priaulx is all over the back of Jake Hill. They go through the Kinkert Ford water, lead up to St Mary's. It all looks fairly clean at the moment, but moves still on trying to be made as they head through. And look at this shot, all getting sideways, out of shape. Jake's shutting the door on Andy Priaulx. As we look back on Priaulx now, the Chevy chasing Jake down in the Ford Capri. There's the Mustang kicking up a little bit of dust. Is there going to be contact, touring car style? Of course there is.
Well, let's hope not too much with these lovely classics. Oh, down the inside. What a great move. Oh, don't get on the grass. They don't. That was beautifully done. And for the moment, Andy Priaulx Priaulx just sneaking in front, and he's got the good line when they get down to the next corner at Woodcote, because he's on the inside. But look at the speed of the Capri in a straight line. That's brilliant. If Jake can brake later, yeah, I think he can. He brakes a little later, gets it turned in, and holds on to the lead.
Slightly lighter Capri, more able to brake later down into Woodcote, but he's forming a train behind him. These two battling. The Chevy's going to have the legs on the Capri down the straight. The V6 power compared to the V8 grunt of the Chevy as they roar past the commentary box window. But Jakes is going to be wise to this. He would have had a look at the competitors. He's only really raced Andy, though, in races like this, so he will have to dig deep into his memory to have a look at how Andy races. But we all know Andy Priaulx, he's going to go for a grab if there is one, and at the moment Jake's holding it well.
He is holding it very well, and Andy looking for opportunities, but Jake is placing the car middle, which is just making that life a little bit tricky. Oh, a little clip over the curb, but actually no damage done. He just clipped the curb a bit tighter than he might have wanted to. Jake Hill. Now this is the area into Lavant where we saw on exit the move from Andy Priaulx to get past Jake. Now, well, he's on the outside this time, and he's not trying to go around the outside. He knows that's risky, but of course they're now being caught up from behind as well, aren't they? And so this is all getting a very, very close battle now. It's not just the two of them. It could get even tighter.
Yeah, seconds separating the top four at the moment, and it's going to be a drag race down the back straight here. Jake's being squeezed onto the grass. All out of shape, just manages to hang it there. He's going to keep it on the inside. Andy Priaulx, is he going to copy the move that Jake did earlier on? Yes, he does. On the outside of Woodcote corner. Fantastic move.
Really great stuff. So Andy Priaulx takes the lead. Jake Hill into second place, and Rob Huff now making great progress as well. To lap 5 out of 6, we have definitely got a battle on our hands for the race victory. The two different class of bikes will be competing against each other here. Dan Jackson on the 350cc two-stroke up against the 750cc Triumph, and it's going through. He's going through. Michael Russell has already passed.
He was so planted round there, so compliant. You watch Dan Jackson's 350 just looked a little bit hard, a bit nervous, didn't look like he was taking the bumps, and Russell just cruised round, back marker there as well coming up. That looked like number 67. I think that's Gordon Russell. That's his father coming up. So Michael Russell was about to lap his father, and they've both gone through safely.
Yeah, well, good timing because he's just taken the lead. So fabulous performance that. Is Dan Jackson going to be able to stay in the hunt? Is he going to be able to put a move on himself? They are, the two of them, certainly well away from everyone else now. Levi Day holding on to that third place in the background, and he may still have a bit of pressure. But this isn't over yet. Look at this, because coming back A chance here for Dan Jackson to come back into the lead. He's going late braking into Woodcote, and he goes in front.
Yeah, he's got that slightly lighter motorcycle, so 109 kilos, weighing about 140 kilos, so he's that lighter bike, but obviously it's a 350cc two-stroke compared to the big 750cc four-stroke. So it is, at the moment, it is the Helmet Trophy leading the Sheen Trophy, but what can he do?
Checker flag.
Oh, it's what?
Yeah, they gave the checker flag. I thought we were going to see another lap.
I did as well.
But it is 6 laps they've done, so 6 laps, so he's taken it back as they cross the line.
Getting the focus down towards the first corner. Andrew Jordan knows this circuit very, very well indeed. Has had huge success in historic racing, following on from his father Mike. They prepare an amazing array of cars. But you know what these racing drivers like, John, as you would have done in period, just driving different things and giving it maximum attack.
Well, certainly Andrew Jordan, we can expect that from him. He's had so much success here at Goodwood over so many years, either in the revival or the members meeting as we are this weekend. Then down into Ford Water through the first part of St Mary's. Again, it's getting the nose in, just rides the curve that little bit on the entry, slightly deflects the car, but manages to pick it up and gets a clean run down into Lavin. A little bit nervy under braking, but again gets the nose in, makes his first part of the apex, second part just there as we got out of the corner. Late apex for part 2.
I could be wrong, but I think he's rather blown his lap. His entry to St Mary's, he was very, very deep, which compromised his line through the second part of the corner, where the track goes over the crest, then down into the compression. But right now, of course, he's using all the horsepower that the Corvette has to see if he can claw all that back. Target time, 1 minute 15.410 seconds. We won't know for about another 10 seconds how well Andrew Jordan has gone. We haven't got the splits up on the screen, nothing to let us know, but all but scraping the paint off the front of the chicane wall ahead of him. Will Phil Keane still be at the top? Andrew Jordan's time about to flick onto the screens. I don't think he would have done enough, but wait and see.
So there, Andre Lotterer now.
Guy Smith, who's just set a 132.3. There he is. He's just come through the first corner. Only 8 minutes of this practice session remaining. So he goes through the pretty much flat out Ford Water, dips slightly downhill, and then you'll see it will start to rise once again as they go up to St Mary's, which will always get brilliant shots as you hook it into the right, then throw it into the left, and a good workout being taken place behind the 711 of Guy Smith.
Yeah, it's lovely to watch. The Lotus Cortina, the Mark 1s that were first created in 1963, and because Ford wanted to get into motorsport, they made the connection with Lotus, and of course the Ford Lotus connection would come along even more strongly in later on. So, but it's wonderful. A debut on track in September '63 by Jack Sears and Trevor Taylor at Alton, and they were often driven by stars back in the days. Jackie Stewart, Graham Hill, for example, they raced these Lotus Cortinas. That was a time, Alice, wasn't it, when Formula One drivers didn't just race Formula One, they raced all sorts of things.
And that's what I say, go back in time and it's much better. I mean, they're so limited of what they can do, Formula One drivers these days, in their contracts. Wouldn't it have been nice to have seen some of them, maybe not this weekend, it's the Bahrain Grand Prix of course, but dip in and move across to trying other things, as Smith again extends his lead at the top of the times, a 1:31.5 now, 1.3, nearly 1.4 seconds clear of Max Chilton. Possibly more drama yet to come.
Yeah, absolutely. We shall wait and see. There are flags out there to warn some of those back markers. Oh, there's a little bit of a wide entry there by Rob Huff, but has he? Yeah, he's still just about got it. But Andre Lotterer is putting him under more and more pressure. This is a wonderful race to watch. Of course, these are both in they're both in GT40, so they've got the same speed down the straight. They've got that slight challenge through the corners. They don't always have the smooth grip through the corners that you get with some of the others. That Ferrari, for example, which seems to be so quick through the corners as well as fast down the straight. But this is proven to be a good battle between two very, very experienced drivers. And that are close to the camera there. But more back markers for the race leader, Frank Stittler, to cope with.
Yeah, Rob's going to be going, please, please move out the way. I'm under so much pressure right now. The number 8 there is keeping to the left-hand side, which is going to free these two drivers, and they've then got to get past the, I think that's the 96, isn't it, just in front. So a Chevron and a Lotus to try and navigate past the Chevron, and then they've got the Lotus. So actually our race leader had a good fight with the traffic, but Rob's going to get boxed, Ben. He's going to get boxed going into secondaries. He's going to dive down the inside as they...
Oh, I'm surprised there wasn't a bit of space left, and this could help Lotterer, couldn't it? Because Lotterer is now trying to go to the outside. Oh, then he has to take avoiding action, because now the number 96 is getting out of the way, but that was all getting a little bit close.
They are in their own battle, the 96 and the 8s, down here, albeit right now for 17th, 18th place. But a little bit of smoke can I see there out the back of Lotterer's Ford. Yeah,
you are seeing a little bit, but let's hope. Oh, he's having a little think about whether to get down the inside. Rob's thinking, no, you do not have the space to do that. I'm holding my line. You're going to have to go on the grass if you want to go past. And so in the end, Andre Lotterer had to give it a little lift to avoid going alongside. But this is wonderful. Top level racing, and you can see the race time is disappearing, and we will be on for a checker flag next time around. Frank Stittler is still the race leader. He's built the lead up to nearly 4 seconds from these two, but who is going to finish second? That is going to be the big question, surely now.
It is. Frank Stittler can have a bit of a chill, bit of a relax out in front now as coming through. I wonder if it's a bit of bodywork that possibly rubbing on the back of Lotterer. Of course, he had that contact with Frank Stittler, but all over the back of Rob Huff as they come into first part of St Mary's, then they'll swing left into the second part of St Mary's. As you see, Rob Huff takes a slightly tighter line, uses some of the inside curve to get that rotation, and then he's on the defensive, heading into Lavant, Ben.
Here we go then, into the final slipstream battle as they go on to Lavant. straight, and this is where Rob Huff is going to have to work hard, and then it'll come down to where you position the car and who's going to be the bravest on late braking into the last section. First of all, the double apex Woodcote corner. There's our race leader, Frank Stickler, going through Woodcote now. All that he's got to do now is get through the chicane. But how's that battle going on for second place? We shall see in just a moment. Here comes the race winner of the Gurney Cup. It is Frank Stickler sharing with David Franklin. They have taken the victory with the Ferrari, and second place does go to Rob Huff and Richard Mines in the GT40.